Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you to this very platform once again. Thank you so much for being part of this platform. I appreciate everyone that is contributing in one way or the other to support this very platform. I thank you so much. We have come once again to preach the gospel of Biafra the way we have always done. Remember, in this very platform, we don't come here to instigate violence. We do not come here to preach hate. All we do here is preach the gospel of peace, the gospel of freedom, to bring the plight of the Biafran people before the whole world and to debunk every lie that the contraption called Nigeria have been telling against the Biafran people. That is what we are about to do now. Wonderful Biafrans, as you all know, the journey of freedom is still continuing in this era under the Biafra Republic government in exile on the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. He is doing everything humanly possible to see that Biafra becomes free. Pay attention to this short clip. You will understand that all is not well. And the only way for you, as an indigenous person in that country called Nigeria, is to fight for your own freedom. If you're a Biafra, join the Biafra movement. If you're an Udua, join the Udua people. If you're from Arewa, fight for your Arewa. If you're from the Middle Belt, join the Middle Belt movement. That is the only solution. I want you to watch this clip from beginning to end. You'll be glad you did. Let's watch.
Joining us in the studio today is Barrister Darlington Agomo, a lawyer and political analyst. Good evening, Barrister Darlington. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Senator. How are you?
Very well. Thank you once again. And of course, we also have Mr. Lawal Ekondayo, educationist and public affairs analyst. Good evening, Mr. Lawal. You're very welcome.
Good evening.
Let's get right into the show. Ohaneze Ndigwe, a prominent Igbo sociocultural group, has expressed concerns over the ongoing prosecution of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. The organization, led by Secretary General Mazi Okechukwu Isiguzoro, criticized Southeast governors for failing to push for political solutions to Kanu's trial. Ohaneze praised Justice Binta Nyako for stepping down from the case, highlighting Kanu's loss of confidence in the judicial process. The group also condemned the governors for not acting on their promise made in a July 2024 meeting to engage President Tinubu about Kanu's release. Their inaction has led to suspicions that Kanu has been politically sacrificed ahead of the 2027 elections. Ohaneze urges the governors to fulfill their pledge, calling it both a political and moral obligation. Now, to a large extent, this conversation, all that situation, the entirety of that situation is one that brings a lot of sorrow to the Southeasterners, particularly people that relate and sympathize with the cause of IPOB. And now Ohaneze is saying that indeed their thought is that all of this, the fact that he's still incarcerated, is because the Southeastern governors have failed to make good their July 2024 promise to engage President Tinubu about Kanu's release, and they're also saying that he has been sacrificed on the altar of political interest, so to speak. I'm going to start with you, Barrister Darlington. Is there any merit to the fact that he's been sacrificed on the altar of political interest, particularly as it relates to Southeast governors?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. But let me ask you, at what point did we begin to do things on tribal sentiments in this country?
How do you mean?
Yes, because all this talk about Southeast governor do something. Somebody is the president of this country.
Yeah.
Nnamdi Kanu is a citizen of this country. Why must it be that the Southeast had to go and push, talk, cajole the president before Nnamdi Kanu can be released after the court has spoken? What kind of tribal sentiment are we playing in this country? Does it hold water that any part of the country, except your brother is in office, you will not get justice? Are you building a country? Tell me. All the talk that Southeast governors, Southeast senators, they have sacrificed that. Isn't Nnamdi Kanu not a citizen of this country? And why must he be treated in this manner? When you realize the fact that people like Showore and other people who have done even worse things have been released. It doesn't all go well. So one of the reasons why Nigeria is not making is because of this type of behavior. If you see that something is wrong, please treat it. Leave whoever is involved. If you see that this person is being unjust, take action. That is the only way you can bring inclusivity.
You're relating this to the ruling of the Supreme Court, right?
Yes. The president ought to have done something. You don't need anybody to. That is the only way you can tell me that yes, I am a Nigerian. I am supposed to be protected. That's what you are supposed to do. That's the first thing you swore to. A citizen of this country is being unjustly detained, and the president is there. He has seen the merit of this case and all that. He has seen and heard what the Supreme Court said. Yet he just pretend as if it does not concern him. All the things that have been said, and he just remain aloof. Meanwhile, he has released Showore. He has released Showore. The other people in the north, look at what they are doing. In fact, they have even pardoned them and rehabilitated them into the society. With this type of behavior, how can the Igbos, where Nnamdi come from, how can they believe that, yes, they are part of this country? You can see. You are deliberately creating that division you are avoiding. There's no way anybody from the side will be happy because it has become an affront to the Igbos. Yes. Remember, let me tell you, maybe people don't know. One of the reasons the world fought the First World War was because a woman was killed unjustly. A woman was killed, a woman. That was what caused the First World War. Now that we have been advancing and talking, nobody will listen. Tomorrow night, they will see how the Igbos have started the disturbance. They have started fighting. Over what? But it is good though when you are treating me unjustly. But when it's the other side, I mean, it's okay. Why?
Right. Barrister Darlington, let me pose this one to you, Mr. Lawal. He's talking about the fact that it's an affront to the Igbos, the fact that the president is not treating this with any kind of seriousness, so to speak. According to him, he's saying the Southeastern governors, that aside, because they shouldn't even be running any interference, they shouldn't be running any middle point, any middleman management at this point, because the Supreme Court has ruled and they have the final say. So why not follow the ruling of the Supreme Court? What are your thoughts concerning that specifically?
Actually, one, like I said, Nigerian constitution, gives opportunity for dictatorship. If you say rule of law, anytime you hear they say rule of law,
yes,
I just look at people who say it because I know that the rule of law is selective in Nigeria. It's selective. When I always forget this governor, this Kogi State governor, former Kogi State governor.
Yeah.
Yes. You see, he went to EFCC. Yes, he's been looking for him. We're looking for you. We are looking for all over the place. They are saying he's wanted. Anybody who say want me, whatever. Now he went to EFCC. He was followed by a governor, a sitting governor of the state. So when he got to EFCC, he said EFCC just released him. Yes, he said no. It's because he came unannounced. I don't know what they mean. That's why they released him. He's still wanted.
And he wasn't interrogated.
I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't understand that what game. You want somebody. Does somebody's immunity cover another person? You get what I'm saying?
I wonder.
Does somebody's immunity, one governor's immunity, cover the another person's immunity?
An ex-governor for that matter.
Ex-governor who has no immunity. So they said they will not arrest him because he came with a city governor who has immunity. I don't understand. What does that mean?
Mr. Lawal,
now,
let's not digress. You're linking this to the fact that the rule of law is a sham.
Yes.
Basically.
Now, somebody is in the same custody of the government, and the Supreme Court made rulings, and that ruling is not followed. Is that the rule of law? You get it? Is that rule of law?
And this is the highest court in the land. After the Supreme Court, that's it.
Now, if you make a pronouncement, the court will have to obey it. You go back to the court, they will have to make their pronouncement based on what the Constitution, the Supreme Court has interpreted. Because the duty of the Supreme Court is to interpret Constitution. They don't make judgment, they interpret Constitution. When you have conflicts in the lower court, the Supreme Court will use the Constitution, interpret the Constitution, and then send it back. that this is what you're arguing about, so this is what the Constitution says. So you now go back based on that. You make your decision, everybody accept it because that is supreme. But now, the Supreme Court said this, and then they are still dragged. That's why Kanu was hungry. He had to take the mic, take over and said no. You get? Because for him to come out openly and speak, to tell his lawyer not to, that he wants to be, that means he felt that he's not getting justice.
Okay.
Now,
yes.
If the sitting governor from the state will follow somebody who has been looked, is a wanted person under EFCC, then of course Kanu is also he came from a state. You can take it up now because it's from your state. If you are going to be president, you have to come from somewhere. Is that not it? So he came from somewhere. He didn't come from the ocean. He came from a state. He came from a local government. So it's something they could take up too now. Because the governor of that state that he came from.
So that's what.
Unless if the governor is against him.
That's the point here.
Yes, that they need.
What Ohaneze is saying, that he has been sacrificed on the altar of.
Because they just see as if it's abandoned. If truly, like normally, if somebody is wrong, nobody is saying anything. You get it? If somebody is wrong, of course, let him face the punishment. Is that not it? When he gets to court and the court convicts the person, is that not it? And let the person face the consequence. But at this junction, is the court convicting him? Then why incarcerating him when the court is not convicting him? He's not being convicted, the court is not convicting him. You get it? Then why incarcerating him? And every other person just feel like where he came from, like it's normal, it's forgotten. It's supposed not to be.
Of course. All right, so that brings me to this other aspect, this same subject of political interest. The Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, just on Tuesday actually, appealed to President Bola Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu in the interest of peace and security of the region. According to the royal fathers, they said that criminals were capitalizing on the detention of Nnamdi Kanu to destabilize the eastern region. Now, if Ohaneze is saying the Southeast governors are not doing enough, not only are they not doing enough, he's saying that they're benefiting from the fact that Nnamdi Kanu is in jail. So if we by extension remove the Southeastern governors but focus on these traditional rulers who have gone to appeal now, can you still say that at least stakeholders in the Southeast are acting on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu?
Please, Somto, on several occasions, all the crime de la crime in the Southeast, in Igbo land, have advocated for Nnamdi Kanu's release. Iwanyamu, the Ohaneze leader, before he died,
before he passed,
he went there. He even went to visit Nnamdi Kanu in detention. Every other person I know in Igbo land have done so. The lawmakers have made representations. Who is that person in Igbo land that have not done so? Even these governors are talking, they have done so. So when somebody is now saying that the Igbos are, or what, look, that's what I don't want to hear. Because in the first place, the person that is holding in Nnamdi Kanu are not the Igbo governors. It is the federal government of Nigeria. And the court has said, leave this man alone. So how can you not tell me that it is the Igbo that are holding him when the Supreme Court has spoken? We should be blaming Tinubu for not releasing him after the court has spoken. That's what I'm saying. If we begin to call Igbo, Nnamdi Kanu is not in any political party. So how come people are telling me now that some people are benefiting from his incarceration politically? What politically? I don't understand.
But going by the same logic, Barrister Darlington, how is the president benefiting from the fact that he's in jail?
That's what I'm telling you, that it has become an affront to the Igbos. Yes, now, because I don't see why Nnamdi Kanu should continuously be detained when Oshowore has been released. And that's where the tribal settlement I was talking about came in. If an Igbo man were to be in Asorok today, do you think Nnamdi Kanu will still be there? No, be sincere to yourself. Do you think Nnamdi Kanu will be there if an Igbo man had been in Asorok? You know the answer.
All right.
Because it was immediately the Tinubu came into office that he released the Oshowore. They did not even try him. They withdrew the case completely, discharged and acquitted. The Attorney General entered the nollie prosecute in the case of Sowore. So that of Nnamdi Kanu, if they have anything against for 4 years now, why have they not tried him? They have nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. Even the offense that they claim, they said it was even the Supreme Court that said that Nnamdi Kanu has been offended by the federal government, that he should sue them. So when you look at all these things, I don't know this idea of referring to the Southeast. What will anybody gain if Nnamdi Kanu continue to remain there? The Southeast government, what are they benefiting now? Are they secured? Are they happy? How can they be happy? What will Nnamdi Kanu do if he come out? He will stop them from being in APC, PDP or Labour Party. Will he command them? I don't want you to go to this party. I don't want you to do this. Will Nnamdi Kanu? He won't have time for that.
Acting on this subject, because as he said, and there's truth to that, it's the federal government. It's in the federal government's custody that he's in, technically. And if that's the case, why is it that if the Supreme Court has ruled against the fact that he's still incarcerated, but he's still incarcerated in the federal government's custody, why is the president, who is the chief security officer, if you please, for lack of a better term, who is the chief commander, grand commander, still not acting on this subject? Is there a specific reason for this? He's saying tribal sentiment has something to do with it, but I want your thoughts on that.
I think that question should be directed to is it Onanuga, the spokesperson of the president? Should come and tell us why now. Because if we hold the Constitution to be supreme, you get it. You get it. And the Supreme Court that interprets Constitution, and the Supreme Court that interprets Constitution, you get, said they should release him. Then, and the federal government is not obeying the Constitution. The federal government should come out and tell us the reason why they have not done that. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because for us to be talking about this thing, that question is for them to answer it. That's why, see, look at what happened. It's already in the Constitution that this local government allocations should be given to them, but the states were not doing it. Is that not it? Now, the federal government took the state to court. Is that not it? So that that thing can be done. So if the federal government is not releasing Kanu, anybody can take the federal government to court now on it.
There are lots of speculations on that. Because
take the federal government to court. Let the court, you get it. Because if the court, when you present that thing in court, then the judgment is the violation of the Constitution itself. So the court will now say, no, the federal government, you get it, is violating the Constitution.
But the federal government is already violating the Constitution.
I know.
So Barrister Darlington, 1 second. If the federal government is already violating the Constitution by the very act of the fact that he's still in jail, then how then would suing the federal government still to the same court? Is that not counterproductive? What's the result of that supposed to be?
There's a game going on. You get it? He was taken to court, and the court was, trying to play around it. That was why I said he lost confidence in the court, because they were not addressing the interpretation of the Constitution. They were, the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. They
were talking about something else. That's why I said he doesn't have confidence again that the judge will rescue herself.
Yes.
Now, if they are taking the government to court, it's one case. It's just one case.
What's the case?
That the court should decide. Make a pronouncement that the federal government, is not following the Constitution.
All right, let me just throw that.
I don't know. I'm not a barrister. I stand to be corrected.
Which is why I'm throwing it open to him. In this kind of case, Ms. Barrister Darlington, there are a lot of factors to this. The Supreme Court has ruled, and this is in violation. The fact that he's still in jail is in violation of the Supreme Court's ruling to start with. Mr. Lawal is saying sue the federal government, to the same judicial system, through the same judicial process. And at the end of the day, people are wondering, relatively or anyhow you want to look at it, people do not have faith in the judicial process. So where is the end result of that supposed to be?
My dear, it will be an exercise in futility. Because this federal government, they are not keen in obeying court order. Other state, federal or Supreme Court or Appeal Court, they are not keen in obeying court order. It is on record. The Supreme Court has spoken. What are you bringing to them again to sue that they are not obeying court? What do you want the Supreme Court to do? To go and force Tinubu to do the needful? Or the Attorney General to do the needful? You were here when this particular judge, Binta Nyako, told them during the last two adjournment, the last adjournment before this one, that they should go and seek for political solution to the problem. The court initiated it. The court initiated it. Within that time and now, was anything done? The lawyer and some lawyers again, and some members of Ohanese, even the lawmakers, including Abaribe, they went to the Attorney General's office. They went there. Based on what the court have said, what came out of it? We look into it, this and that. That was what the answer they got. Look into it up till now. The lawyer now gathered all the judgment of the court in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and packaged it and gave the Attorney General a federation for him to study all the judgment, none of them in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. Up to today, nothing. So, are you going to carry gun and so you go and do this? Tell me, if you want to do the needful as a state official, you don't need anybody to tell you. The moment the court have, you obey it. You obey, but when you don't want to obey, that's when all this rigmaroding, all this delay, all this pre-verifications will come in. Because you don't want to obey the law, and because you have sentiment attached to the case. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be neutral. Every Nigeria is in fact the court and the constitution provide that you must get justice. Every Nigerian, no matter who you are, either you are from the Sokoto or from your Enugu or you are from Ogbomosho, anywhere, as long as you're a Nigerian and the court has given you justice, you have to enjoy the benefit of that justice pronounced by the court. Any other person that is sitting on it is violating both the court decision and our constitution. But what do you do as an individual? Will you carry gun? Will you carry gun and say, the court have said that you, will Nnamdi Kanu walk out of DSS custody on his own? How will you do that? These are issues now. It's not something that anybody can go and say, and the moment the Igbos protest now, they will tell you another thing, treasonable felony. So you can see the dilemma we are in. We cannot go and protest and say, look, this is our brother, this is our son that you are holding. The court says you should release him. The moment you do that now, treasonable felony will follow. They will term it another. Look at ordinary protest, what they are terming treasonable felony. Anything you do now, treasonable felony. If you cough now, treasonable. So you can imagine the where we are now. Something that is unheard of in the history of Nigeria is happening today. The man that protested all his life, and nobody brought him in and charged him for treasonable felony. Look at what he's doing. Is that a democracy? This particular case, don't forget, the whole world is interested in Nnamdi case. Are you aware? They are what the UN have written to the federal government of Nigeria concerning Nnamdi Kanu. 3 letters, 3. Yet nothing has been done. So they are not even embarrassing Nnamdi Kanu. They are embarrassing themselves. Because at the end of the day, when you go out there and make note that you're a Democrat, they're with Democrats, they will look at you with one corner of their eyes. They are watching and seeing what is going on. They are listening. So if you continue to do this, how can you build Nigeria? That's the first question I've been asking here. How can anybody who is treated like this be patriotic to the Nigerian state? How? You are making them to be hardened. The people from that part of the country, you are making them to be hardened. You are making them to feel like an outsider. You are making them to feel that they are no longer part of you. And this is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Again, I've said this so many times, there are so many layers to this. He is emphasizing the area of the tribal bias that exists at the moment, or has existed for now, for a long time, even till now. And he's saying if the Igbos go out to protest, traceable felony will be slapped on their faces and they would have to pay for it as a form of consequence. My question to you is very simple. Should we include or exclude the place of tribal bias in Nnamdi Kanu's incarceration, continued incarceration?
that was why I started with the example of this governor. I don't know why I forget it.
Yahaya Bello.
Yahaya Bello. Maybe I should write it in my, on my. I won't forget. You get. Look at the way this game is played around. It's so simple now. You get it? It's so simple. Look at the way he's playing the game, where the whole world, not even.
After watching this very video I played, do you still have any doubt in your mind that Nigeria can never survive? My fellow Biafrans, it is either freedom or nothing. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama continue to guide and protect the Biafra Republic in exile, protect our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa, and protect our Supreme Mazi Nnamdi. Biafra government, peace, unity, progress, and equity. We move airborne.